10 years, 18 movies if I remember rightly, and a whole slew of TV series, although they are kind of secondary at this juncture, have led to this point. We are here at Infinity War, the first half of the 2 films that were filmed back to back of the Avengers part of the MCU. And yeah, there's a lot to cover here. I will be getting into spoiler territory towards the end of the video, but I do want to open for those who haven't seen it, who just want general impressions, you know, what they're kind of getting into without having too much spoiled for them. I do want to give the first part of the video to that. So it's going to be difficult, but I will do my best. So going in, I know a lot of people have come out with the same impression as I have, which is along the lines of, wow, and really? And okay, that was unexpected. There is no better phrasing than those to sum up the feeling that you come away from this film with. If you've been along for this journey, you know, sort of through space and a bit through time, you know, explored the grounded heroes like Captain America, but then had such wonderful journeys of the mystic with Doctor Strange, enjoyed a whole new country with Black Panther. If you've been along for all of this, seen the arc of a playboy billionaire weapons developer to someone who cares about the world and all the people in it, if you've been along for this ride, you should see this film. If you've been along for this ride and you've enjoyed it, even if there's been a few, Thor the Dark World, that you really didn't enjoy as much, Thor the Dark World, you need to see this. It's got everything that we've been building up to so far, you know, the relationships that we've seen, the connections these people have made, the trust that's built. We have some humour, and sometimes this humour is right next to heavy moments, even early on, because we're still following the aftermath of the destruction of Asgard, which I realised was possibly a spoiler for Thor Ragnarok, but if you haven't seen that and you're thinking about seeing Infinity War, that's a bad move anyway. But, you know, we're still seeing that fallout, we're still dealing with that, and it's a heck of a ride. It's the longest Marvel film at about 2 hours 40 minutes, but it doesn't feel it. The sign of a good film is that it can be, you know, 2.5 plus hours, but feel like a normal 90 to 2 hour film. And this does. It really takes you along. There's plenty of action, there's plenty of lulls to catch your breath, because there are times that you need to. You need to just stop for a second. And it does it well. And I definitely recommend, like I say, if you've been following this franchise, go and see it. But I'm about to delve into the spoiler territory, so I'm going to be nice and give you a countdown to give you definite time to go away. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm assuming everyone's gone who doesn't want to be spoiled. So yeah, how much death? I wasn't expecting Heimdall to die right at the start. I suspected Loki was, because unfortunately I'd seen a video that was titled something along the lines of Tom Hiddleston, you know, explains why playing Loki was such a blast. And something in my brain picked up on the tense of that was. That's very much a past scenario. So I did kind of have that sort of spoiled, but, you know, it's those kind of things to be expected. But Heimdall really, really shocked me, especially as Idris Elba was saying that he wanted a bigger role. Well, unless we're going to do flashbacks or some weird, like, reincarnation, which I will get to. I will have theories. But I don't see how he's going to get that, so that could be really weird. The whole sort of idea of, again, messing with the trailer. The end, you know, with the Captain America holding the gloved hand of Thanos with only 2 stones in. Well, he's got them all. I don't think anyone has expected that he would get all of the stones in this film. It really just closes out the story, in a way. But then, obviously, you know, we're going to have Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then, of course, the follow-up to really deal with what's happened from this. But there was so much death, and there was tears in my eyes, because I'm not familiar with Tom Holland, as many of us probably weren't before Civil War and Homecoming. But when he's kind of a bit plot holey in a way, kind of the only one who's actually having a big death scene. But when that happens, his performance just got me more than anyone else. Everyone else was kind of, oh dear. But he was sad and pained and felt like he'd let Stark down. And I'm almost getting tears right now because he is an amazing young actor. I cannot wait to see him in more. He has got skills. And I'm so glad they've picked someone like this who can play the very light, fun Peter that we've seen up to this point, but can bring emotional weight. I'm in awe. But that's really all I want to say, you know, it's, of my views of it. You know, it's definitely worth seeing. It really hits hard. There was one thing, actually, the good buddy of mine that I took with me to see it, James, it runs Olive Studios. Go and check out that channel. There's a link down below for you. But he had one or two major gripes, and one of them was that Thanos was a bit too humanised. And I agree, because he's not human. He is the Mad Titan, which they did keep referencing, but they tried to make it sound... They tried to make him too human. That's basically it. And I understand why, because we need to sort of understand these villains, apparently, these days. They need to have motivation to be compelling, and it was a way of making that happen. Fair enough. But I think I'd agree with that as a gripe, but otherwise, you know, I didn't find too many flaws with it. I did have a theory, which is what I did want to go on to next, and that is if we notice the people who are disappearing, the half of the universe, 5 trillion souls, based on what Heimdall said previously about 10 trillion souls in 9 realms.
Here I could see 9 realms and 10 trillion souls.
There's about 5 trillion souls who've just gone, which is a scary number when you think about it. But the ones of, obviously, the people we're following who disappeared are mostly the newer introduced ones, the ones who we're seeing as likely to be the future of the MCU. Cap didn't go, Bucky did, and Sam. Peter went, not Tony. So I think this is setting us up for some weird... either a reset where it's kind of a bit like it's the Ultimates, but not obviously with Miles Morales, etc., but, you know, a separate tangential universe that they are saved through. Or a kind of blood debt, I guess you could say, to go back to the Soul Stone, and the surprise that we all had, I think, from that. But I think maybe, you know, some way of, like, trading off, like the old guard who are like, yep, I'm done, I don't want to do any more, will sort of pass over their role, if you will. They'll pass over leadership by some heroic act to bring the other guys back, to create the new Avengers. But that's just one crazy theory. You know, I'm happy to be proven wrong when it comes around. You know, I do want to see what happens. And interestingly, only one post-credits scene. I felt that was worthwhile. I think it would have cheapened it to have something super humorous following such an emotional ride, as particularly, you know, towards the end of the film. But the end we got was, I think, worth it. And unfortunately spoiled if you looked at IMDb, because you know that Colby Smulders and Samuel L. Jackson were in the film. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I like what it's setting up for. I really think that they are doing something to shake up the MCU for Phase 4. And I'm eager to see what's next. So next week, we're on that thing that I've been putting off for too long. So please join me. Don't make me do it alone. But until then, as always, take care.